Everyone is familiar with the story of the Bermuda Triangle, a strange place in the North Atlantic Ocean shrouded in mystery and paranormal activity that seemingly sucks up every airplane and ship that dares pass over it. But did you know that the Bermuda Triangle isn't the only mystery the Earth has? In fact, it pales in comparison to some of these places. From Bermuda Triangle-like spots to doorways to hell, here are 9 places more mysterious than the Bermuda Triangle. Number 9. Sargasso Sea. There are mysterious places, and then there's the Sargasso Sea, which is something straight out of a medieval horror tale. 19th century myths speak of the danger the murky waters of the Sargasso Sea holds, particularly its carnivorous seaweed. The Sargasso Sea is located right in the middle of the North Atlantic Ocean, and it has the unique feature of being surrounded by ocean currents. All sorts of marine plants end up in this sea, resulting in it being full of dense seaweed. Believe it or not, but since the currents make the sea so isolated, it's unnervingly still, surrounded by the otherwise freezing Atlantic Ocean. That calm is the calm before the storm, an eerie quietness that you hear before invasive seaweed wreck your ship. Numerous times have ships been found floating peacefully in the Sargasso Sea, entirely crewless. Notable mentions include Roswell, an 1840 French merchant ship that was found without a single man on board, but traveling with its sails set. The most popular theory? The seaweed is carnivorous, and it devours sailors and leaves the ships alone. Number 8. The Michigan Triangle. Lake Michigan is famous for a lot of things. It has the largest freshwater sand dunes in the world. It's the only Great Lake within U.S. territory, stretching across the states of Michigan, Illinois, Indiana, and Wisconsin. It's also known for hosting its very own Bermuda Triangle. Known as the Michigan Triangle, the area spans the area from Manitowoc, Wisconsin to Ludington, Michigan, and south to Benton Harbor. Legends of how unnatural the Michigan Triangle was started around 1891, when a sailing ship called the Thomas Hume vanished without a trace, along with its crew of 7 sailors. 30 years later, the Roswell ship, carrying 11 people, would disappear as well. Later on, the empty vessel would be found, overturned, and clearly damaged from a collision. However, at the time, there were no reports of a ship accident, nor were there any other wrecks found. One of the eeriest incidents took place in 1937. The captain of a ship, one George Donner, retired to his cabin to rest during a routine coal delivery. He told his crew to wake him up when they arrived at the port. 3 hours later, a crew member opened the cabin door to find that Donner had completely vanished. His cabin door was locked from the inside. And then there's Northwest Airlines Flight 2501 ending up as one of America's deadliest commercial airliner accidents. They were flying over the Michigan Triangle when the pilot requested to descend because of a severe electric storm, when the plane disappeared into seemingly thin air. The plane was never found, or any of the 58 people on board. Number 7. Door to Hell. The closest doorway the world may have to Hades' eternal kingdom of the dead and the damned, aka Hell, is a fiery pit in Turkmenistan. For over 40 years, the Darvaza crater, notoriously known as the Door to Hell, has been burning despite being in a barren landscape. This otherworldly fire is believed to be the result of a drilling mishap made by Soviet scientists who set the crater on fire in an attempt to control noxious gas. The depths of the crater are 225 feet wide and 99 feet deep. In November 2013, storm chaser and explorer George Karounis was the first person to dive into the blistering depths. He described it as thousands of small fires everywhere you look. The noise? As loud as a jet engine. Karunas also said that the heat that comes off it is so scorching that the shimmer from distortion warps the air around you. Number 6. Jatinga, India. At first glance, Jatinga is an average town, home to around 2,500 people. However, it's been described as the Bermuda Triangle of avian death. Jatinga, India is where every year, for the last 100 years, thousands of birds suddenly come in and commit mass suicide. The bizarreness starts after the monsoon season. From September and October, and only on moonless nights and between the hours of 6 and 9:30 p.m., a total of 44 bird species become unnaturally disturbed. The incident is described as the birds becoming oddly disoriented before suddenly and violently diving into the nearest torch or light they can. The odd phenomenon has been attributed to anything from supernatural myths to a combination of altitude and fog. Number 5. Roswell, New Mexico. A town so mysterious and shrouded in UFO sightings, out of all things, that it warranted its own CW TV show. Welcome to Roswell, home of one of the most famous UFO incidents. It's not just a UFO sighting in the sky photographed by a low-quality camera. No, Roswell had what people believed to be a UFO crash there in 1947. A rancher contacted the U.S. government claiming that he had found debris from a crash of a flying saucer. After some investigation, the incident was covered up and ruled out as a crashed weather balloon, but not many people believed that. Today, you'll find an annual UFO festival held there every July. Number 4. Oregon Vortex. Native Americans avoided going by what is now known as the Oregon Vortex. They called it a forbidden land. Horses would refuse to even go through the area. If you're a fan of the X-Files, then you may have heard of the Oregon Vortex, a place that defied the laws of reality and physics. The unnatural anomaly that is this mysterious spot started with a geologist and mining engineer called John Lister, who was responsible for developing the area in the 1920s and opening it to the public in 1930. After a gold assay office abruptly slid from its foundation and stopped at a bizarre angle, Lister theorized that the site has a spherical force field that spans half above the ground and half below it. Now, tourists flock to the site to see the illusion and trick of light themselves. Some even say visiting the vortex helps heal their back pains. Believe it or not, the power of the vortex is at its strongest when the moon is full. Number 3. The Richat Structure. Could this be the remains of the lost city of Atlantis? The Richat Structure is somewhat of a slap to the face for every scientist who has ever studied it, particularly because no one could truly figure out what it is. Also known as the Eye of the Sahara, it's located in the Western Sahara Desert in Mauritania. Before scientists took to space, no one knew about the area's existence. It wasn't until humans were sent to space that they noticed what looked like a bullseye in the sand. The eye stretches about 25 miles across, and it looks like an outsized fossil. Theories of its existence go anywhere from an ancient meteorite impact to erosion and to, of course, Plato's mythical city of Atlantis. In defense of the Atlantis theory, Plato did describe it as a concentric ring of water and land, which applies to the Richat Structure. Number 2. Zone of Silence. possibly one of the only areas to compete with Roswell's unusual alien-like activity is La Zona del Silencio, also known as the Zone of Silence. It's an area that's about 30 square miles wide and is located deep in the northern deserts of Mexico. Something always feels off about the Zone of Silence. Sure, it has plenty of beautiful flora and fauna. However, it's overflowing with claims of extraterrestrial activity. People have described their radio signals going haywire, their electronic equipment getting lost, strange lights, UFO sightings, and more. What stands out the most is a recurring phenomenon of a group of people who appear and disappear after asking for or providing help. After interacting with people, they disappear just as fast as they had arrived. Spooky. Number 1. The Devil's Sea. And finally, we have what is known as the Pacific Bermuda Triangle, or, if you would prefer its creepier names, the Devil's Sea, or the Dragon's Triangle. Located in the Pacific Ocean around Miyake Island, a few miles south of Tokyo, even ancient legends speak of the beasts and mystery that lurks there. Author Charles Berlitz wrote the book The Dragon's Triangle in the late 1980s, telling all the evidence he gathered about the paranormal events he believed took place in the Devil's Sea. He detailed Japan losing over 700 sailors across 5 vessels between 1952 and 1954 while they were passing in the sea. He also claimed 100 scientists studying the region were inexplicably lost. In 1955, the Japanese government sent a ship, the Kaio Maru No. 5, to investigate, but its fate was predictable. It vanished without a trace. This led to the area being declared an official danger zone. And these are all the places more mysterious than the Bermuda Triangle that we have for you today. What did you think? Which one is the most mysterious to you? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. And before you go, if you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to Weeklypedia and click that notification bell to be alerted whenever we upload a new video. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.